Welcome back. We've got some brand new heroes to talk about. This guy right here is a brand new Ice Blast hero, Miro, and he's actually really good. I was talking him down in content creator chat because I was doing some damage testing, which you're going to see. But after I did the damage testing, I did realize that if I have this guy along with Girth, along with Shinna, that this team that I play would do much more damage because I have Shinna, I've got Girth on my main account, and then I usually use Bledin or I use Zorak on there to get my third DPS. But if I have him, this guy will definitely increase my overall damage by a lot. And you're going to see a damage comparison of him compared to Girthin, and it's pretty surprising what we see. But this guy here on this ultimate ability, it's a 16-second ultimate, just like she's 16-second. He puts up these debuffs on the enemy. They give him additional critical damage. Once 5 are up, he does 100% additional critical damage to the target. Nobody else gets this, only himself. But once all 5 are up, he's going to ignore 60% of defense. So I'm thinking if we bring him into Ancient Battlefield where there's really high defense, we get a defense, he gets a defense buff, that this guy is going to do exceptionally well there. Plus in Ancient Battlefield, we can't bring Girth because she has too many buffs. We can't bring Bledin, he has too many buffs as well, but this guy has no buffs. He just puts up an undispellable, unresistible debuff called Map Pin that gives him this additional critical damage. But that's it. Then he's doing his battle skill and he's doing this and healing by 25% of your damage. And that goes up depending on how many map pins are on the target. So this heal, it was so big. It's such a big number that you're going to see that I thought about putting him on the staff. The Gatekeeper staff, which does overhealing into a shield. And I was like, maybe I could solo some stuff, but that didn't work out. I did try it. I went into one of the domains. I went up to stage 4 or 5, and he was doing pretty well by himself. But after a while, he's just taking too much damage. And really, you couldn't see much of a shield on him because he has to get those map pins on the target, and then the healing to himself really goes up. This is the gear. We're going to run it for 5 minutes. I'm going to fast forward so you can see the end result, but 5 minutes gives us a long time, like a long Vortex fight, to see what kind of damage he can do. This gear here only gives us additional damage. There's nothing fancy with the gear. We don't even have fancy gloves. We're not using Witch's Remains, and we're not using any kind of leader ability. Skip to the end in a minute, but let's start off by checking out this ultimate. So he hit the boss and he healed for 19,974. But there's not a lot of map pins on yet. He's not getting all that additional critical damage, and he's not ignoring 60% defense yet. And this boss, this level 1 boss, has a little bit more defense than the Vortex boss. I've come in here and tested this many times to see what our damage number hit is with critical damage. It's always the same. And then taking that same hero into the level 4 Vortex, this dummy, the level 1 dummy, has a little bit more defense than the level 4 Vortex boss. So it's a really good comparison to come in here and fight this level 1 test dummy. So right now, look what he's going to heal for. He's got 5 stacks up. He's going to heal for 91,000. 91,000. Pretty insane to heal for that much. Even if he's healing for much lower, that's fine. He's going to get a full heal. He's going to top off his HP. So any content that we're going through, much easier for him to stay alive. Do we need that on the Vortex boss? No, we don't need that. What we need is just pure damage because we bring in enough support to keep everybody alive. Can it hurt to have that on Vortex? No, it's not going to hurt. We'll take additional healing. Let's heal him up. That way, when I get shields or overflow shields from healing, he'll get bigger shields on himself. This will be great. What I do want to see, though, is damage that's comparable to Girthin. And what I was expecting, or what I assumed was that I wanted, was more damage than what Girthin does. This guy's a legendary. He takes 8 legendary scrolls. Girth takes 8 epic scrolls, and she's... Basically, what it comes down to is Girth does about 60 to 70% of my overall damage. Probably 60 to 65% of my overall damage. And if this guy can do what she does, like I've come to the conclusion, okay, he can't do more than her, which you're going to see. I get that. But he can do almost what she does. If that's the case, she's doing 65% of my overall damage. This guy's doing then, if I just played him by himself, 60% of my overall damage. Together, they're going to do a lot of damage. With Shinna in here, giving them both enough ice crystals to be able to do their battle skill over and over and give them increased attack. Like, this is a lovely team here. I wouldn't be surprised that if we use these 3 and then say we substituted Miro, the new guy, and put in Beldel, which is an exclusive, but I've never seen Beldel really go crazy and pop off. Maybe it's because she didn't have her exclusive artifact, but I've just heard that she's good, but she's not great. She's not like taking Flora and giving Flora her exclusive, and then it's just insane damage then. So I think this team is a solid team, and then we can bring Miro in other content where the boss has more defense. Since he's ignoring 60% defense, plus we get Witch's Remains up, he's going to ignore all defense. Even if they have a defense buff, that should be a lot of damage. It's not like you have to have this hero. This hero isn't breaking anything. He's not making the game like easy to go through. I get that, but Ice Blasts are already crazy powerful. And we're bringing in another hero now that does the damage that Girthin does, but also heals himself by a lot. And he has no buffs. Well, we can't bring Shinna in because, no, Shinna's buffs are okay. They're the gold border, right? Yeah, all these buffs that are on right now for Shinna and for Miro are fine. They're the gold border buffs. They're the ones for our Ice Blast and for our increased attack that can't be removed. So we wouldn't have that issue with Ancient Battlefield, the big shield boss, removing that and getting that attack buff. And the in-game bosses. A lot of times those in-game bosses that we fight, if they're single target, again, like we just had in Season 3, then we could bring him in on that and do even more damage than probably Girth can lay down. All right, let's skip forward. Now that you know all that information, let's just see what the total damage is that we got for him. I think it was 7.9 million. We're at 1 second left. 7.9 million. We're going to take that same exact gear, transfer it over to Girth. You can see right there, right? Same artifact. We're using the statue. They both have a 16-second ultimate. Everything's the same for them. Skill-wise, ultimate-wise, it's all the same. Now she's got it, and you can see her damage is ramping up. She's at 7.2 million. We have 30 seconds left, and pretty soon she's going to end at 8 million. So same damage, right? But we use the same exact gear. Girth doesn't need a 100% chance to crit. His gear had a 100% chance to crit for him, as well as whatever crit damage is with it. And that's the same gear we just ran. So with the same exact gear, she did just a teeny bit better than him. But we would never gear her this way. We would put her at 80% chance to crit because her battle skill gives her 20% additional crit. So what I'm going to do is just change a few pieces. Like I'm just going to look for something that we take away a little bit of crit and just give her a little bit of critical damage. Not even a lot. I think we wind up at 84 crit and 219 critical damage. And the original amount we had on her is 195. Already approaching 8 million. Let's go, Girth. And it's all about the damage on the Vortex, right? We have 2 support to keep everybody alive. Again, though, Miro healing is good. There's like, I'll take healing on any of my DPS anytime. Additional healing is fine. So now she's pulling off 8.5 million. Yes, it's going to be, you know, this is 5 minutes. In a long fight on the Vortex boss, it's going to be more damage, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy amount more damage. And since she already does such an astronomical amount of it, having him in here doing almost what she does is still a big increase. At first, again, I was a little bit upset because I'm like, okay, a legendary, you're giving me a legendary, but it doesn't do more damage than an epic. Maybe it's just a good sign that this epic is so strong that so many people have her. That's good for all of us. I don't want her to be nerfed. I would like this legendary though, since it's ignoring 60% defense and getting 100% additional critical damage, and he has a little bit higher base attack, not by much, a little bit higher HP, a little bit higher defense. I would like him to do a million more. I would like it to be switched, him to do a little bit more damage than she's doing. But we'll take what we can get. If I pulled him, I would still be happy. And yes, I would use him on my Ice Blast team. You guys let me know how you feel about him down below. Where would you use him? Where would you use a DPS that can heal for so much? Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in a video soon.